Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries, welcome back to Art Theoriez News. We get a lot of comments from our viewers telling us how much they love the show and asking us questions. And we just want to say a big thank you because we read every single one of those comments. And one comment that particularly stood out to us recently came from a Mr. Austin online art lessons.
I'm confused. What's the difference between classical, modern and postmodern art? Please help.
Well, Mr. Austin online art lessons, whoever you may be, that's exactly what today's video is about. Joining me via Zoom, we have representatives from classical, modern and postmodern art. Welcome to the studio. Now the first question I would like to ask you all is this. What makes a great artist? Starting with you, Classical.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I believe that one becomes a great artist by studying anatomy, by attending life drawing classes, by studying the works of the old masters, and most importantly, respecting the rules of painting and sculpture set by those who came before us. However, I must add, in order to become a great artist, you need natural talent. And God did not share out talent evenly. Some people are destined for artistic greatness, whereas others, no matter how hard they try, will never be an artist.
Okay, thank you so much for a fantastic answer. How about you, modern art? Do you agree with classical art? I just want to start by saying I wholeheartedly disagree with everything the posh man has just said. A great artist is someone who's able to tap into their childlike creativity. And since everyone is creative, everyone is an artist. Respecting the rules of painting will only lead to mediocrity. A truly great artist would destroy painting in order to reinvent it. As for studying anatomy and life drawing, no thank you. A truly great artist is not somebody who can represent the outer world. That's a photocopier. It's somebody who can represent the inner world of emotion and feeling. Expression is more important than representation. Tell us what you think, postmodernism.
Hi, thank you for having me on. It's clear that both classical and modern art are completely obsolete, which is why I'm here. It's also clear that modern art's cult of creativity and authenticity is in decline, which is why a lot of the great artworks we've seen since the 60s have been made not from creativity, but from repetition and deconstruction. A great artist is someone who can utilize popular culture, someone who can mix high and low art form, and someone who can deconstruct grand narratives. A great artist does not have to commit themselves to a single material. We live in the post-medium age, and artists should be interdisciplinary. I would just like to point out that rather than answering the question, he spent most of his speech criticising myself and modernity.
That's actually a very good point, classical art. You know what? Postmodernism couldn't exist without me. It's called postmodernism, for goodness sake.
That's correct. I'm here because your ideology has failed. All these concepts, such as creativity, artistic innovation, beauty, even art history itself, are constructs created by the bourgeoisie to serve the ruling class. Postmodernity has come to deconstruct these ideas.
Okay, I'm going to step in before things get a little bit out of hand here. I've got another question for you. Does art have the power to change the world? Starting with you, Classical.
Well, I see things a little differently. Art is how the church and the aristocracy communicate to the illiterate masses. And obviously we're trying to communicate messages we'd like the masses to internalise, such as the natural authority of landowners and the divine right of monarchs. Therefore, art's not so much a way of changing the world as it is a tool to keep the peasants in line and to keep the status quo unchanged.
Absolutely, art could change the world. It could bring about a utopia if only people tapped into their creative potential. A surrealist painting could start a riot. An apartment block could become utopia. The suffering present in a single painting could prevent war.
Wow, modernity, you are so naive. Unfortunately, art history has shown that when artists try and change the world, it always makes the world worse. Capitalism will always incorporate dissent. The best we can do is critique the power structures in such a way that capitalism cannot commodify our work. But ultimately, no, art cannot change the world.
Okay, you laugh at me, call me naive, that's fine, but it's your loss. You can't even imagine a better world, let alone try and create one. You're so high and mighty with your cool, ironic critique of capitalism, but you bring nothing to the table yourself, and you know it. Okay, thank you so much for some fantastic answers. Now I'm aware you're all very busy, so I'm only going to ask you one more question. What is your definition of artistic progress?
Progress is learning from and absorbing the techniques of the old masters and repeating these principles in order to sustain the highest level of artistic mastery in order that we can pass on the gift of Western painting to the next generation.
Progress is the elimination of everything unnecessary from an artwork until you're left with the pure essence of the medium.
Progress is a Western construct. It doesn't exist.
Okay, thank you so much to our guests for some fantastic answers. Thank you so much to the viewers for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe.